I'm so excited to come to you guys this morning with a topic that I am so incredibly passionate about. And I'm just going to take a few minutes. I could talk about this topic for hours, but I know time is so precious. And I hope that I can just help you guys see how important this topic has been to me, how it's actually shifted so many relationships in my life. And I'm so incredibly grateful for it. So I'm going to show you the book, tell you the little pieces to it. And then I'm going to share a couple of stories. So I'm going to get out there on that skinny branch and be super vulnerable with you guys this morning because I really think that the stories will help you have the awareness as to why I think this topic is so important. Awareness is key. When you're aware of things, hello, Lena, thank you for listening. Oh, Leanna, sorry. When you're aware of things, when you're aware of maybe backstories or circumstances of any situation, it's incredible how we react differently to things, how we see things differently. Sometimes we can create stories in our heads, right, of how we think things are, and awareness changes everything. So my topic this morning is this: 5 love languages. So I was given this book, and when I was first given this book, I remember thinking, my marriage is solid. I don't need that book. But I read it because I believe that knowledge is power. And I thought maybe there's something I can learn in here. It can't hurt, right? So I'm going to show you the copy of the book, although give this book some grace. This book has been gifted and shared and taken on vacations, and I'm surprised it's made its way back to me. I do love this beautiful wedding copy of it. I need to get a new one, but the 5 love languages has been a game changer for me. So I really feel like knowing your love language gives you the communication to explain what's most important to meet your emotional needs. It also gives you the insight to figure out what's most important for your partner or whatever relationship you're in so you can meet their emotional needs. So you might think, I got this. I'm already doing that. That's what I thought. And then I learned more. So the 5 love languages, as spoke about in this book by Gary Chappell, is number 1, words of affirmation. So language. And I'm going to explain it in a very simple way. We're going to talk about pizza today when we're talking about these love languages. So words of affirmation would be something like, that pizza was very good. Your pizza was very good. Number 2, the second love language is gifts. This would be like, I brought you a pizza. Number 3, acts of service. I made you a pizza. Number 4, quality time. Let's go out for pizza together. And the 5th love language is physical touch. Let me hold you like a pizza, which doesn't quite work, but I'm sure you can get the gist of what I'm saying. So when I really dove into these and understood each one, but got curious about the people in my life, it changed my marriage. It changed the way I saw things. It changed how I parented. And it changed a few relationships in my life. So when we think about marriage, so I'll be really vulnerable. When my husband and I were first together, I had a really hard time when he would go out. And it wasn't because I was jealous or I was afraid he was with somebody else. I actually couldn't even explain to him why it was hard for me. It was just hard for me. I actually couldn't even figure it out for myself. I just remember feeling like sad. I never really knew why. And of course we worked through it, and it wasn't like I was jealous or angry, just simply sad, which then of course made him sad, right? But we made it through that time of our lives and everything is fine. Our marriage is beautiful. But when I read this book, I was really able to look back and realize that I didn't know what my love language was back then. I didn't know what his love language was either. I didn't even know that was really a thing, right? I just thought like love was love, right? But my love language is actually time. So when he would leave and do whatever he was doing in his life, deep down in my body, it was like, why would he rather do that than spend time with me? Which wasn't what he was thinking. So that's why I just think awareness is so key. As soon as I realized that time was so important to me, I could then look at any situation with more clarity and realize why I was feeling sad, as opposed to thinking I was an insecure person or creating all these stories in my head about how I was lacking in our relationship because I was feeling bad in that moment, now I can look at it and have full awareness and understand it. The other thing is Corey will do things for me. Like he will do anything for me, anything. Because the way he shows love is through acts of service. So he likes to fix things for me. He likes to just make my life easy, which I'm so incredibly grateful for. But it isn't how I receive love. So when he does those things, I'm like, great, thanks. Thanks for making my life easy. But how I need love is time. I would rather him just sit on a couch and hang out, right? So when we started to really lean into each other's love languages, it helped us understand each other. I now know that his love language is touch. I am not a touchy-feely person. I am not a huggy person. I'm not even comfortable with a handshake most days. But now that I'm aware that that's his love language, it's in my energy field, I make those conscious efforts to make sure that when I sit beside him, I will touch his leg or I will rub his neck or whatever I can do to make sure that I'm showing love in the way that he's going to receive love. Having this little bit of awareness has strengthened our marriage like you have no idea. You have no idea how, because now we understand each other. So I love that. I think it's so important. If you haven't figured out what your love language is, I would dive in, and I have some questions for you later. The other thing I want to talk about really quickly is parenting. This helped me like you wouldn't even believe in parenting, because how I show love is different how I receive love. So time, if you spend time with me, I feel so special. But how I show love is by gifting. I love gifting. Gifting is by far my love language. If you receive a gift from me, I hope you know it came from like the depths of my soul. That's my love language. So with my children, that's what I did. I would gift them things that I thought would make them so happy and make their life easier and more fun. And they'd be like, thanks, and not appreciate it, right? And I'm like, what's your problem? Like, look how much I love you. I've done all of this for you. Why don't you appreciate it? Well, if that's not their love language, that's not how they're receiving that gift from me. They're just like, thanks, mom, another puzzle, or thanks, mom, that's a whatever, right? So when I learned how my children receive love, I was able to give that to them instead, which strengthened all of our relationships. You know what's even funnier? Both of my girls, their love language is touch. And like I said, I'm not a snuggler. I don't snuggle. I really make this conscious effort now. When Tegan sits beside me, I used to like, okay, do you need to be in my space all the time? And now I'm like, okay, you need to be in my space so that you know how much I love you. And in relationships. So this is another interesting one. So my bestie, her love language is words. She lights up, man. When you talk about language and words and have a deep conversation with her, her eyes sparkle. 10 years ago, I didn't know that. So when she would correct my grammar or try to give me better language or better words for certain things that I was using, or try to explain how to use certain words for me, I used to own a bar. Language isn't my strength. I have a bit of a potty mouth, actually. A decade ago, I would feel like, oh, she thinks I'm maybe stupid, or she doesn't think I'm smart, or I just thought maybe I'm not that smart. Like, it's amazing how we create these insane stories in our heads from half information, half truths, right? So as soon as I learned that her love language was words, now I get so excited when she wants to teach me, and so excited that I actually reach out to her and say, how would this sentence sound better? Or what word would you use instead? Or how are you supposed to reference this then and then, right? And those conversations and just having that awareness has strengthened our friendship. She knows that when I sent her a gift, that gift was thought out and like specially made for her. And I know that when, like, if I can sit and have a deep conversation with her, that's going to change everything for us. So I hope these little stories, I know we only have a few minutes together and I don't want to take too much of your time, and this was actually more time than I even wanted to take, but I do hope that this information really helps you, and I hope you dive in. All my posts today are going to be more tips to help you with your love language. I just want to close with this. I want you to remember this. Love is something you do for someone else. It's not something you do for yourself. It goes along that line that Tab was talking about the other day, right? Acts of service. What can you do today to show people you love them in the language that they are going to receive that love? That will be a game changer. Have an awesome weekend, guys. We love this community. We're so grateful for you, and we can't wait to see what we achieve together over the months to come.